morning, good morning. I hope you guys are having a fantastic start to your Friday and jumping in with today's video. I'm really excited to be talking about this topic because it's been something that's really, I guess, been not only a passion of mine, but a sheer determination on many levels. And to be really honest, I've really struggled in personal relationships over the years. And it's been one of those things that's taken a great deal of learning, a great deal of time, and a great deal of self-examination and self-inquiry as to what was actually really going on. And I'd love to share some of these, I guess, tips or tools with you guys if you are feeling frustrated. Hey Steve, great to have you on. Hey Sandra. I'd love to share some of these tips or tools with you guys simply because these are really, really, really life-changing, and ultimately our happiness, and that can be on so many different levels, whether that's in relationships, whether that's with our career, whether that's with our personal health and well-being, whether that's just in our own personal energy, how much that we can focus and get done in a day, our productivity, if we're running our own business, you know, how well that business is doing. All of these things are 100% dependent on your own personal responsibility. But not only that, if we're happy in an intimate relationship or happy in our relationships, life is so much more joyous, right? And so I don't know about you, but I'm certainly here for a joyous and fun life, and anything that we can kind of do for ourselves around any of these aspects really can make a huge difference. And a lot of the time, you know, like I said, if we're not feeling happy in our relationships, we tend to feel isolated, we tend to withdraw, we tend to cut ourselves off from the world, we can feel ashamed or guilty or sad or not enough, and we can walk around feeling very defensive, and that life is very, very difficult, and life is a struggle, and life is hard for us. And of course, when we're in that energy, life can't help but bring us anything but more of the same. And so this is where it can really start to impact us on that particular level as well. Hey Katie, great to have you on. What else we've got jumping on there? Hey Joanne, lovely to have you on as well too, darling. And Vanessa and Shan, lovely to see you on here. Shan and Christy, awesome guys. So if anybody's got any questions about this, please feel free to jump in and just comment below. But I guess the biggest distinction, if you were to take one thing, if you were just to jump in briefly and just take one thing from this, it really is release the blame of how you're actually feeling, of anybody else's job, anybody else's responsibility. You are 100% responsible for how you feel. Nobody has the power to make you feel a particular way. And this really comes back to how we actually choose to respond to life. What meaning are we making about certain events, certain circumstances? And I can promise you, whatever you're living at the moment, you will have practiced that, and it will have become an emotional, habitual addiction to how you view life or to the perceptions that you're actually living at the moment. And for me, and for many of you that have been following me for quite a while, you'll know, hey Britt, lovely to have you on. Many of you'll know, you know, I say that at one particular time in my life, you know, somebody did have so much love and respect for me to actually call me on my BS and to say, your life is the way it is because of you. And it was a really, I felt really harsh statement at the time. My mum had just passed away, my marriage had broken down, and I was faced with raising two kids by myself when they were 5 and 7. I was really in a very, very low self-worth, low self-esteem, and it was just, it really slapped me, and it stung. It really stung, and I felt quite angry when I first heard that. And then I was like, I got the power of it. I really understood it. And so if you've just been slapped by that statement, I send love and compassion, but I'm also really excited for you, because whilst ever you blame anything outside of yourself for your own personal happiness, you're giving away your power immediately to be able to change that. And this is what happens, particularly in codependent relationships. I've been doing a lot more reading again on codependency. It's been one of those triggers for me over my lifetime where I felt very much, and anybody that buys into needing a lot of external validation from others, or being a people pleaser, being the martyr, being the victim, or overdoing or overgiving to others. And I think as humans, we can all tend to do that at some times in our life. And so much of our society has bought into the belief that our worth is based on how much we get done in a day, so on our productivity. And a lot of that was due to the Industrial Revolution, and, you know, more productivity is better and better and better. So if you're not being productive enough, you're not enough, or your worth or your value is diminished in some way, shape, or form. Not true. You think about a baby. You know, sleeps and cries and poos and eats. And, you know, we know 100% in our hearts that that baby is 100% worthy of our love, is 100% worthy of our affection, all of those things. And so somewhere along the line, we kind of get a little bit tripped up by who we need to be or what we believe that we need to do. And so along with that belief of the more we do, the better, the more we're valued, or the more our worth is the more that we do for others, also is tied into this. And so we've based our self-worth on how much that we can do for others. And what it does is it displaces the responsibility of how we're actually feeling, and we become very consumed by what's going on for others, by helping others, by being needed to be the fixer, the rescuer, the taking care of others, all of those things. Hey Nick, great to have you on, darling. Hey Kate, hey Paula, lovely to have you guys on. Hey Tracy. So what happens is that we become very consumed with everybody else's needs. And next minute we've got, and if you're a woman, you probably relate to this on some level. I know for me, I lived in anger and resentment for a long time because I completely neglected my own needs. I was so desperate for wanting love and wanting approval from my former husband that I was willing to do anything. I was really allowing myself to be treated like a doormat. You know, on numerous times I was like, you know, oh, can I do this? Can I do that? I was trying to be the perfect wife in order to please him or get his approval. Now, when we're coming from that desperate, needy energy, you know, that feels revolting for the other person as well. And it tends to make them want to go, yeah, no, I'm kind of cool with that, thanks, and push us away further, which only exacerbates the insecurity that we're actually feeling at the time. Now, for me, I was very unconscious at the time. You know, I was with my former husband from 16 to 31. So I'd grown up literally in that relationship. There was a lot of developmental years, obviously, within that. And I'd really submitted to trying to be his all and everything. And of course, that will always result in a very unhappy relationship. I took over responsibility, so I was overly responsible for his welfare and his well-being and everything I was trying to do and be. And he may or may not agree with that, but you know, I was trying to be overly responsible for how he felt, and yet being completely irresponsible with how I felt. And so I was blaming a lot of the time my own happiness, my needs not being met, my own fulfillment in life not being met. I was like the giver and the doer of everything, and it was just craziness, absolute craziness when I look back on that. And so moving forward, then, you know, started to reclaim like a lot within myself, and by myself, out of relationship, I feel really empowered and I feel really kick-ass, and I can totally take care of stuff because I'm only focused on myself. And it's been a real challenge for me personally to learn how to be an empowered woman in relationship to other. And that's, you know, in lots of relationships as well, not just only intimate relationship. But I think the more that we can really come back to and sorry, I just got another tangent of thought kind of coming in as I went to say something, but it's, you know, one of those really, really important aspects as well. Hey Joe, lovely to have you on. Hey Kate and Trace, lovely to have you on as well. So it's really important to, I'll loop back to what I was going to say before, but really important to take that level of self-responsibility, to release blame. So if, you know, they upset me, they should do more for me, they should take care of me, they should support me, they should love me, they should respect me. Are you doing those things for yourself? Because we live in attraction universe, guys. So everything that you're experiencing is because of the energy that you're living in day to day. You cannot be a creator of your life and be living living in victim energy, or, you know, this is happening to me, rather than how is this happening for me? What is it? What's the experience that I'm learning right now? How am I making myself sticky to this situation? If somebody's abusing you, or somebody's angry at you, or somebody's not appreciating you, where are you sticky inside? Where have you created that inside with a belief of others don't appreciate me, or I'm not appreciating myself? It's not up to others to make us happy. We all get a bit confused, because in relationship we get, and this was where I was going before, we get confused around the purpose of relationship. We think we've got to get in relationship in order to get our needs met. No, 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 no. Relationship is a spiritual experience where we get to demonstrate the best of who we are. We get to express who we are in relationship to something or someone. And this is where so much hurt, so much sadness, so much suffering occurs in relationship, because we actually don't recognize, or we haven't taken the time to understand the true purpose of relationship. And when you think about relationship, it's a point of relativity. You could not know yourself without something else being relative to you. So it's the relationship to something else, and it's the expression of who you get to be in relationship to that, whether that's whether that's an event or a circumstance. You're always getting to actually discern and choose who you wish to be in relationship to something. So if you're in relationship with somebody and you're angry or frustrated that your needs aren't getting met, you know, then we're demonstrating that we're a victim in relationship to that other person, or we're being used by the other person, or we're being neglected by the other person. And it will always result in disharmony and anger and frustration, and perhaps even more overgiving. I'll just try harder, I'll try to please them more, so finally they give me something back. And we're giving to take. That's not how it's meant to be. And it will always result in anger and hurt and expectations that we've unconsciously or consciously placed upon other to meet needs that maybe they're not even aware of. And we've all got our own rules about how we believe that we should be living life, what we should or shouldn't be doing. And a lot of the time we're projecting that crap onto everybody else, saying, well, you should be more organized, you should be more loving, you should show up in a different way, you should be more punctual, you should be more reliable, you should be more responsible. No, that is our own medicine for ourselves. Anytime you hear or think someone should be different, that's your own medicine for yourself. They are your own rules that you're wanting others to live by. And 9 times out of 10, when I've done self-inquiry, I can't even live by those rules myself. So why the hell am I expecting somebody else to live by those rules? And I'm pretty randy about this, because this is probably a little bit more for myself also than for others too, because I get caught up in this. I forget. I start getting back into trying to control others, or trying to have others be different, and it always results in misery or unhappiness or anger or frustration, and it will never ever 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 serve that relationship. And so if there's a part of you that's like, oh, there's such a negative person, like, what are we looking at that's so negative? We're being the negative person. We become what we judge in other. And in every time that I've done inquiry around my beliefs or my thoughts of what I'm projecting onto somebody else, I've become that in doing that. So it's like, oh, they should take more responsibility for how they're feeling. Wow, now I'm blaming them and I'm angry at them because they're not taking responsibility for how they're feeling. Flip that around. I'm not taking responsibility for how I'm feeling. So it's a really, really powerful thing to be able to do this. Hey, Dana, great to have you on, darling. Hey, Lisa. So good to see you on here. And Jen, and Diana, and Megan, and Tadia. Lovely to have you guys on. Hey Kylie, lovely to have you on as well. So it's really important to take that next level of responsibility for ourselves. Stop blaming others for what they have or haven't done. What is it that you need to do to take care of you? And this is where stepping back into that self-responsibility is so, so, so important. And please give me some love if this is really resonating with you, or if you've got any questions, pop the question below. But if this really resonates with you, please let me know. because taking that next level of self-responsibility and doing so a lot of the time, like in order to find the reflection of where I'm sticky in a particular situation or with whatever's kind of going on for me at the time, really comes back to doing the self-inquiry. And that is, you know, what am I angry about? What am I frustrated about? What do I want from somebody else? What am I wishing would change? And so by doing that, that's where I can see, that's my area of where I need to grow. Another great way of doing this, and I've ran through this experience a lot with oh, Megan, bless, darling. Yes, and I'm talking about myself as well. I think we're all so bloody human. That's what makes this so challenging, but also so exciting. Because when you can stay centered, regardless of how somebody else is feeling, that's self-mastery, guys. That's emotional mastery. And I can promise you, it's exhilarating to feel that. It's like, yes, it's almost like kind of a test. Not that, you know, we're testing ourselves or anything else, but for me, I've used it as a way to gauge how strong I am in my own emotional resilience and in staying my own path, not jumping into somebody else's lane or not jumping into somebody else's problem around all of that as well. Hey, Kirst, lovely to have you on, darling. So really great to really acknowledge, you know, number one, what are we feeling? What are we believing that somebody else should or shouldn't be doing? And then be able to flip that around and go, I need to be more positive, or I need to appreciate others more, or I need to appreciate myself more. If you felt truly free in this moment, if you weren't in blame or you weren't wanting somebody else to do something else for you, what is it? What is the action that you would be taking? But before that even, how would you be feeling right now? What is it that you wish to feel, and how do you choose to be living your life? And one of the challenges with if we've been a little bit hooked into codependent behavior in the past, or even, you know, in present, is we've become so consumed with everybody else's needs and desires that we've lost. We don't even know who we are or what it is that we wish to have for ourselves anymore. So create some blocks of time. Joe Dispenza talks a lot about this in changing 5 steps to change your reality or change your life. It's number 1, disconnect from the world. Unplug your phone. Stop being so reactive on your phone. Turn it off. Disconnect. Create some space and time for yourself. Number 2 is connect and breathe. So by breathing or by tapping into your sense, so what can I see? What can I hear? What am I tasting? Tap into your 5 senses. Or even just one of those senses, it brings you back to your body. Quite often when we're in reaction or we're in survival or we've got a stress response going on, we're up in our head and we're in our ego survival mind, and we're not even tapped in or tuned in to our bodies. So it's hard to know what we're feeling because we're up here trying to escape whatever's kind of going on. Like energetically, we tend to disconnect and unground ourselves simply because it doesn't feel nice to be in our body and actually be feeling what we're feeling. I lived majority of my life like that, and it's only been probably the last 5 years where I've really learned how to ground myself on a regular, consistent basis. And sometimes, you know, I can still very much become very ungrounded if I feel threatened or I feel defensive or guarded in any particular way. So really important to remember to ground yourself, connect and breathe, bring yourself into the present moment. My another one of my mentors is hey Laura, great to have you on. I'll just read what Kylie is yes, absolutely. So it's so important to come back to your own personal happiness. And a lot of these patterns, if it's showing up in an intimate relationship, I can promise you it will have been there since childhood. You know, a lot of the patterns we learn are from 0 to 7 and have been deeply, deeply reinforced in those years. So a lot of it has been role modeled by our parents, God bless. You know, and our parents have done the best that they can. This is not a criticism about parents or anything. I was very fortunate to grow up in a very loving childhood and very supportive parents that were absolutely wonderful, and still, you know, have very human moments of feeling I'm not enough and getting caught up in the ego stuff. We've all got a story. For me, it was around my body image, but we've all got a story as to why we feel that we're not enough or we won't be loved or any of that stuff. And a lot of the time we've got fear about not being loved, for not doing the right things, but fear of being rejected if we're being too good or too perfect or too much or too successful. So, you know, there's a lot that can kind of go on with a lot of this stuff as well. So coming back to what I was saying before, so connect and breathe in the present moment, come back to the present moment. And my mentor, Jean Sheehan, she's an amazing soul as well. And so she suggests just clicking your fingers and reminding yourself, yeah, I'm here now. I'm in the present now. When we're in our head, we're either in the past, thinking about all the trauma that's happened in the past, or all the things that are bad or gone wrong, or blah, 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 or we're in the future with anxiety and fear about worrying and what's going to happen and how's it all going to play out, and trying to control it all before it's actually even happened. Or like when we're in the past, we're depressed because we can't change it. We're powerless to change anything. So come back to the present moment. And number 3 is create your new future. So like tune in to what it is that you want. How do you want to be living? What do you want to be doing? And then number 4 is rehearse that on a daily basis. So it's like visualize what would you be feeling? What would you be thinking? Because until we start to practice a new emotional vibration, a new emotional feeling every single day, you cannot create your new future being a victim of your past. You cannot create it, because you'll still be in blaming your past, blaming those experiences, blaming others, blaming this, blaming that. It won't allow you to step in and take full responsibility for your life. So by coming back to rehearsing, oh my God, I feel empowered. I feel like I can create change. I feel like, oh my God, I feel unlimited freedom, or I feel like belief. I feel confident. It's just like all those things. And even if it's a bit of a stretch for you, I'm looking forward to feeling more confident. I'm looking forward to feeling calmer. I'm looking forward to feeling more excited about my life. All of those things can really help you to start to rehearse the new you. If you were already showing up as the best version of you, if you were already in an amazing, empowered, wonderful, intimate relationship, who would you be right now? How would you be feeling right now? Because until you practice the emotion before the event has happened, you will never be able to get to the event that you want to ultimately happen. And anything we want in life is literally because we want to feel better. So why not start practicing feeling better right now? And this is where the emotional mastery sets in. This is where the self-mastery of being able to remain so stable in your own energy, of where you're at. Hey Cecilia, hey Al, great to have you on, darling. Hey Virginia. So solid in your own emotions, so solid in your own state of being, that you're unshakable, you're unfuckable with, basically. We've all probably seen that meme, which is kind of cool. And I do apologize for the language for anybody. But it's really about stepping into that energy of just being so strong in yourself that it's like, no, I'm clear on who I am, and this is who I'm choosing to demonstrate in relationship to anything. So you can call BS on stuff. You can say, this doesn't feel good for me. This is not okay with me. This is a no. This is a yes. This is what feels good for me. And by doing that, when you're already starting to signal the emotion ahead of the event, now you're attracting more and more people that are empowered, more and more people that are wonderful, that are appreciative, that are loving towards you. And a lot of the time, in my experience, people around me that were previously being negative suddenly become positive people. Now, what's with that? Hey, we get to influence at such a powerful level when you come back to your own internal power, when you release the blame and you take responsibility for, I choose to be happy regardless. I choose to feel empowered regardless. I choose to speak up for myself in what feels good and what doesn't feel good. I choose to have honest and wonderful, supportive communication with others. So all of those things will go on to further support your relationships, but more so in support who it is that you want to be, how you're living your life, and how you're showing up for yourself as well. So super powerful things to be able to do all of this. And that's absolutely my pleasure, Kylie. So definitely take some time to get clear on that. And then lastly, with Joe Dispenza's things, so number 1, now I've gone blank, number 1, disconnect from the world. Number 2, connect with your breath. Come back into the present moment. Number 3, create your new reality. Create what it is that you want to start creating. Number 4, rehearse your new life. And number 5, you have to let go of your past. You have to let go of the past thoughts. You have to let go of the past personality, because your personality So if you've been a victim, if you've been blaming others, you cannot hold on to that personality of who you were being and create a new personal reality. Your personality creates your personal reality. And I love that Dr. Joe says that, because it makes so much sense. Just the same as when we take responsibility, it is our response ability. So it's our ability to be able to respond to the events, circumstances, and people in our life. So the greater response ability that we have, the more that we're empowered to be able to step in, say the things that we need to say in a loving, supportive way. It's not about defense. It's not about criticizing. It's not about pushing against. It's not about resisting anything. It's taking it all in and going, wow, I've attracted this experience for a reason. What am I here to learn from this? How can I set myself free from this? What is the energy or the vibration that I need to be in order to be able to create what it is that I'm wanting moving forward? And I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, this stuff is gold. It works. I've applied it in my life for the last 10 years, sometimes really well, sometimes really kind of minute ways. And sometimes I've still fallen completely into the victim pattern again. And that's okay. It's just how quickly can you recognize that within yourself? How quickly can you recognize, oh shit, I'm blaming others again for my happiness? Come back to yourself. Forget about who somebody else needs to be. That is not your business. It is out of your control, and it will always leave you feeling wildly out of control when you're trying to have somebody be different than who they are. Clearly, we cannot do that, and it will just make you feel crazy, insane, and completely out of control. It makes you focus and be consumed so much by what's going on for somebody else that you completely neglect your own personal responsibilities, your own personal happiness, your own personal needs, all of those things. So step back in, take control for yourself. Who is it that I need to be in order for me to live a happy and fulfilled life? What would I choose for me? If I could create anything that I'm wanting for myself and move forward in a powerful way, what would that be for me now? So I truly hope that's been helpful for you. Good morning, Louisa. You may wish to jump back to the start, hun, and tune in, because we're pretty much just wrapped up here now. So have an amazing day, guys. So much love and gratitude for you all. If this has been helpful for you in any way, please I love lots of love hearts, particularly on a Friday. I love appreciation as well, but I appreciate me. And it's also, like I said before, a lot of the stuff that I say is also for my own benefit, just to more deeply reinforce that within myself and to remind myself at times. Sometimes there's some really cool stuff that comes through me, not necessarily from me, and I'm like, oh, that's actually really cool, I should listen to that. And of course, you know what's best for you. It's not about me sitting here and saying things. I love to suggest some things that have worked in a powerful way for myself, but you have your own answers, guys. You are you've got your inner being, you've got your wisest answers within yourself. So take some time to sit and acknowledge and tune into what is right for you. I will always, always, always guide people back to their own inner guidance. This is not about somebody having answers outside of yourself. And I think that's also where we get a little lost in life, is because we are hooked into, oh, somebody else has got the answers, or, believing at school. And, this is not a criticism around schooling or anything else, but I do believe it is shifting and changing. But I know when I was at school, I was taught what to think, not how to think. Learning how to be an independent thinker and come back to what is right for you will always, always serve you, because what's right for you and what's right for somebody else can be two totally different things. And we all have a beautiful, unique perspective to bring to the world. We have unique gifts to bring to the world. So if we're all trying to do the same thing and figure out the right way to live, man, we are going to lose so much expansion and growth as a result of that, because it's only through the newness or new ideas or new expressions or perspectives that come through that help us go, oh wow, yeah, I never thought about it that way. It helps us all to expand and grow and to evolve in a powerful way. So if this has been powerful for you, please like, love, or share it with somebody that you love. And have an incredible day, guys. Take some time to connect with you, to love on you, to really appreciate who you are. We are all incredible, incredible human beings. And I think sometimes we listen a little bit too much to our ego survival mind and get a little bit hooked into that feeling of scarcity, lack, fear, of not being enough. And it's time to come back to our heart center, to know the truth of who we really are, and to be able to live it, breathe it, and express that, particularly in our relationships. So have an amazing day, having loads of fun and creating your new reality. Bye for now.